I wish more people would have science in the workplace. All right, so you're asking, Ryan, what are you talking about? Science in the workplace. Well, I know that in business, in a lot of situations, we tend to look at numbers. We don't always understand where those numbers are coming from or the fidelity of those numbers. And even the metrics that we're using, maybe not even the best metrics to be measuring what we're trying to measure. One of the things that really bugs me is that, of course, like I'm just saying here, summarizing it up, we don't know our numbers that well. In some cases, we don't even use our numbers. We are still going on gut feelings and decisions from previous things that have happened, which can be legitimate decision-making tactics. But the one thing that we need to do in business to really make sure that those gut feelings are really actual things that are happening to corroborate, we need the numbers. So any kind of metrics that we can be gathering that are going to be accurate, we are always going for reliability and validity within the workplace, within science as well. So let's bring that back in. I think that's going to be my main thing that I really want people to do, because that's the easiest thing to do. That's the most sellable thing to do when you go to your leadership. Let's bring numbers back in. Let's make this a little bit more based on something that's not gut feeling, that is actually happening out there. Analytics are a great tool, and we should be using it more. The other part of the research equation that I wish people would be bringing in more science into the workplace, it's going to be take a look at the research and start building some of those great findings, into the applied space. So what I'm talking about is practitioners still need to go out there and they need to read the journal articles. They need to be aware of what's actually happening in those academic ivory towers, because there's a reason business is about 5 to 10 years behind academia all the time. So what I'm talking about is we have some great research going on these days, and we really need to be up on it, but we need to be implementing that a little bit quicker than we are right now. As of right now, businesses tend to be behind academia because the research comes from academia, then they need some years to replicate it, to prove it, and then they need to find an early adopter. Any kind of change has an early adopter, and that's no different for the science that's going on. To find an adopter for research findings, you need to find those people. And usually the people that start implementing the research findings, these early adopters, they tend to be businesses people want to work for. So not only are you going to get better return on environmental changes or people changes or whatever is going on in the research, you're going to be a number one employer for people to come to. One of the things that we find, especially in the research about motivation, is money as a motivator. So money is only a motivator up to a certain point. To make a job interesting to stay in, the first thing we need to do is pay enough to take money off the table. Now, there's a company out there in Seattle where the CEO took a huge pay cut, somewhere between 70 to 90% of his pay and executives' pay was cut so that the employees, the people down even at the first level, were going to get paid $75,000 as a base pay within the first year. Now, if you live in some areas where you're only making about $40,000 to $35,000 as a base pay, you understand why that can make a huge difference to you. If you're making $1 million, if you're making, 250 or more, you're probably not going to feel that. You may feel like you're getting assets taken away from you. But what they found is that performance went up. Performance went up to a point where they actually needed to get into a bigger office because the people were doing so well for the business, which meant they were doing well for the customers. That's just one example. There are so many examples out there of things that we found in the research that people have actually applied in their businesses every day that have been successful. So go out there, practitioners, and start looking at your research again. And for those of you who are in leadership in businesses, please listen to these people who are coming to you with fantastic research findings. Find a way to implement them and trust them that things will work out. All right, folks. So hopefully you go out there and get your research back into your business. And until next time, I'm Dr. Ryan Simmons. I'll talk to you later. Bye.